Phoenix Rescue Mission has been serving the citizens of the Valley of the Sun since 1952. We provide Christ-centered, life-transforming solutions to persons facing hunger and homelessness.
I grew up in a pretty dysfunctional home. My parents were alcoholics. My mom tried to raise me and my sisters. We were shipped around a lot and just kind of got into drugs and alcohol really early, probably about 14. When I had my son, I was 35 when I had him. I was actually living in a tent. And about the first week of school, my son's first grade year, he got taken by DCS.
You know, I came from a broken family. What I hadn't found in my relationship with my parents, I found in using drugs. That started a 16-year addiction to prescription painkillers. I actually ended up in prison for a year. After 6 hours of getting off the bus from prison and telling myself for a year I was gonna do good, 6 hours later I was drunk and high.
I wanted to stop what I was doing and I just didn't know how. I went to Community Bridges, and in doing that I had my first meeting with my DCS case manager. I almost lost my son. He told me I was 2 weeks away from losing him to the state. He told me about the Phoenix Rescue Mission and the Changing Lives Center, how it would be a safe place for me and it would be a place that I would have a stable home.
My family was actually against religion so much that I was grounded when I was a kid just for going to like a Wednesday church event with one of my friends. I was grounded for a week. And so God introduced himself in my life by having me collapse at the front doors of a church. And the pastor came out and he woke me up and he said, I want you to go to the Phoenix Rescue Mission and just stay the night. I woke up the next morning with the intent to just go use again. Physically and mentally, I could not walk past that front gate. Then I would have denied what really was happening. And the truth is that Christ himself had put his hand on my chest and said, I've got you right where I need you.
I fell on my knees, honestly, and I just gave it to God. I started visiting my son. I started going to my random drug testings that I was required to do, and they were starting to come up clean. About 7 months into the program, I got my son back. He came to live with me. That feeling of just putting one foot in front of the other was amazing. My case is closed. I've had him now for almost 2 years.
Inside, I said, Jesus Christ, I don't know if you exist or not, and I want to know you if you do. Did you mean for me to be here? And right then, a gentleman actually passed behind me and just said the word yes. And I got chills immediately, and I perked up and I looked at him. I was like, hey, what did you say? And he looked at me, he's like, I didn't say anything. And so right then I knew, this is God. God brought me here. God knew there was a purpose to my life. He knew that I was brought to a point where I was ready to surrender.
I think about my life now and I think about my life before coming here and how different they are. I never thought in a million years that I would be running a cookie and catering business. I mean, everything I have learned from the Phoenix Rescue Mission.
I now have purpose. I now have a life. I now have a reason for being. It's not to hold on to guilt and shame. It's not to feel like I failed just because I was born. My purpose too is expand his kingdom.
God just has a way of using the rescue mission to really change the lives of people that are willing to take that step.
You know, when you're at a place like the Phoenix Rescue Mission, you can feel the Holy Spirit.
It's a place to, learn how to get back into society again.
Nothing makes me feel better than to see our own people move into those leadership roles and really start pouring back into the lives of others.
God's just leading me in such amazing directions. I ended up getting hired in January to continue doing what I'm doing, to continue to speak into these girls, and to me that's just so amazing. To see these girls' lives change like mine did is awesome. It's so cool.
There's so many times that I've had the volunteer that finally gets the courage to take the big step and go down to the mission and serve a meal to a homeless individual. Every time, the volunteer's life gets far more impacted than the recipient of the meal. If you want to get your socks blessed off, come down and volunteer at the Phoenix Rescue Mission.
That's the one thing I can say about this place. There's so much love here.